the child's soul come into him again. 1 Kings chapter 17 verse 21. And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times, and cried unto Yahweh, and said, O Yahweh my God, I pray thee, let this child's soul come into him again. It is argued that when the child's soul left him, his immortal entity departed to heaven. The passage neither states nor implies that the soul described is immortal, or that it would depart to heaven or hell. Such views must be read into this passage. They are assumptions for which this passage offers no support. The personal pronoun him describes the lifeless body. If the real child was the immortal soul tabernacling in a mortal earthly body, then the pronoun should have been descriptive of the soul, and as it is, of the body. It was not the child that had departed, neither was it the child which returned. The child was dead. He died when life was lost. He became living when life was restored. The Hebrew word nephesh, translated soul, in this passage is translated life in Genesis chapter 9 and verse 4, Leviticus chapter 17 and verse 11, Deuteronomy chapter 12 and verse 23. The Hebrew word nephesh, translated soul, comes from a root word meaning to breathe. The word nephesh describes the breathing frame and the life, the being, the person. It is used of humans and of animals. Other translations render this a little bit differently. Then he stretched himself out on the boy 3 times and cried out to Yahweh, Yahweh my God, let this boy's life return to him. And another translation, he stretched out over the boy 3 times and cried out to Yahweh, O Yahweh my God, please let this boy's breath return to him. If, as some argue, that the soul of the child went immediately to heaven, would it not have been better for the prophet to have left the soul of the child to enjoy a new life in heaven, rather than to recall it to the suffering of earthly life and possibly later being cast into the fires of hell?